The major markets experienced massive losses last week, as the S&P 500 endured the worst weekly return since October 2008 during the financial crisis. The Dow Jones saw even greater losses, with the index down 17.3% in 1 week. Year to date, all 5 major markets are down well over 20%, with the MSCI World Index and Dow Jones Industrial Average down 30%. This pullback has been remarkable in how quickly it has happened. After hitting new all-time highs on February 19th, the S&P 500 has dropped over 30% in just as many days. But as brutal as the last week was for investors, the S&P 500 sits at the same level that it did in January 2017, and not far off the level last seen in January of 2019. Sadly, there were few places to hide from losses last week. Even bonds were impacted. The Bloomberg Barclays U.S. Aggregate Bond Index also saw a drop of 2.29%, returning the index to flat on the year. Even AAA-rated U.S. corporates were hit, as the Bank of America U.S. Corporate's AAA Index fell 9.23%, as the effective yield shot up from the March 9th low of 1.79% to 3.36% on Friday. Precious metals were also pounded. Silver's losses rivaled that seen in the S&P 500, while gold only gave back 2% for the week. Industrial metals were also down, as the demand for raw manufacturing materials has caused the indices to correspond to the performance seen in the overall domestic equity markets. Investors will need to brace themselves for a slew of negative reports over the coming weeks and months. These releases will likely be remarkable due to how far they will be outside of historical norms. Last week, the Department of Labor reported the beginnings of the surge that we will see in the weekly jobless claims. The seasonally adjusted weekly reading of 281,000 is 70,000 higher than last week and will likely be eclipsed by this week's reading. In fact, Reuters reported that the number could reach a record 1.5 million this week. This could exceed the current weekly record of 695,000 from back in 1982 by more than double if it occurs. Politicians in Washington are currently negotiating bills to offer financial remuneration to offset the widespread layoffs that businesses and whole industries have had to deal with. Meanwhile, the number of confirmed cases of the novel coronavirus will continue to climb exponentially in North America as more and more testing is rolled out. We would advise that you stay home as much as possible at this time for your safety, as well as the safety of others, until authorities feel the situation is under control in the next couple of weeks.